I want to invite Lisa Fuller to join us at the podium. Lisa is a wife of Jeff. She is a mother, a grandmother. She is an activist politically. She is the second vice president of the Women's Democratic Club. She's leaving. She's coming back. She's the founder of the Montgomery County Women. And most importantly, today she's going to speak with us about Moms Demand Action around gun violence. Welcome, Lisa, to our church.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here. So just to fill in a little bit, I'm a retired educator in Montgomery County Public Schools. And in 2017, an event happened that changed my life. It was an election, and I went to a rally downtown and became an activist overnight. So that's how all this started for me. I founded this group called MoCo Women, and within probably 2 weeks, there were over 1,000 followers. It was just the right time, the right place for that. And suddenly I stumbled upon Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America. So a little history in case some of you don't know about Moms. It was founded by Shannon Watts on December 15th, 2012, which was the day after the Sandy Hook elementary school shootings, where 26 children, and I think it was 2 adults, were murdered. She started a Facebook group, kind of like what I did, that day after, and she didn't live in Newtown. She had no relatives there. She was just so appalled by what had happened and the gun violence in our country that she felt she had to do something. I'll read to you what the reason that she did it. She did it to send the message that all Americans can and should do more to reduce gun violence. It was meant to unite women against the gun lobby, much like the Women Against Drunk Driving did in the 1980s. And that's what she fashioned it after, and it exploded. So right now, in every state and in the District of Columbia, there are chapters of Moms Demand Action. In 2013, Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America and Mayors Against Illegal Guns merged together, and the umbrella group is now called Every Town for Gun Safety. So just so you know, it's a little confusing. If you're a member of Moms Demand, then you become a member automatically of Every Town for Gun Safety. So the work of Moms Demand, and it varies, I guess, state by state, depending on the laws within the state where you live, but basically it's to expand background checks, which is incredibly important, so we keep the guns out of the hands of people that have no business having one. Recommend responsible gun storage. And that brings to mind the little boy in Virginia, Southern Virginia, who was 6 years old and got his hands on his mother's legal gun and shot his teacher. That was not stored properly. Elect gun sense candidates. And I don't know about other states, but the state of Maryland provides that information, whether they've gotten that Every Town honor of being a gun sense candidate. Well, I think that's an honor. And then enforce the red flag laws. And I'm going to read to you what that means. In the U.S., red flag laws authorize police or family members or anyone to petition the state courts to temporarily remove firearms from a person deemed to be a danger to themselves or others. So if your neighbor is acting like a lunatic towards his family and you know that he owns a gun, you can petition the court to say he needs a temporary hold. He should not have that gun in his home. And I'm sure it's a huge process to get that approved, but the sheriff's office in Montgomery County gets involved in that, and they go out there and they serve papers to determine if it's a legitimate gripe or you just really don't like your neighbor, and it proceeds through the courts. So that's we have that in our state. I think only 17 states in the country have that. So I'm gonna tell you a story. Whenever you go to a Moms Demand Action group meeting, someone tells a story. There's some really, really sad stories. I was in Annapolis. Every year, Moms brings everybody to Annapolis or asks everybody to come and rally and visit their legislators to say, we need tougher gun laws. So this last one, it was a young lady from Southern Maryland, I believe it was St. Mary's County. She had been murdered. Her boyfriend was mad at her because she broke up with him. So he brought a gun to school and killed her. And the mom was there telling her story. So here's the story I'm going to tell you. On September 16th, our daughter's birthday, in 2013, the Navy Yard had a shooting. Anybody know about that? Okay. So it was horrible. It was in building 197. The gentleman that shot 12 people, killed 12 people and injured others, used his badge because he was a contractor to the Navy. He had been through the background checks, the process. So he used his badge and walked in with his backpack in which there was a dismantled gun. He had purchased that gun the day before in Lurton, Virginia. So Jeff and I have not a clear understanding about the legality of taking it from Virginia into the district. I think that you can't do that, but we're not really sure. He went in to the bathroom on the 4th floor, reconnected everything, and then went on to the 4th floor and just started shooting. Then he went down to the 3rd floor and he continued. I think he shot somebody in the stairwell. Before this, he was cited 8 times for misconduct. He was in the Navy for a little while. I think it was the Navy. He was in armed forces, and he had a history. He was cited for misconduct. He lied about felonies on his background check, which went through. His hospital records from that year of 2013, he was hospitalized many times. He kept seeing people. He kept hearing voices that people were trying to kill him. So he was hospitalized, it's on the record, but he was able to get that gun. He bought it, he had a background check, and he walked out with it all in one day. 2 days later, he went to the Navy Yard and did his shooting. And I believe he was not allowed to do that. And Jeff was on the 3rd floor in building 197 under his desk. So that's my story. He doesn't consider himself a survivor. I do. It was a terrible thing. My whole family fell apart. It was when he wrote me to say I'm safe. I was at work and I wrote, safe from what? I didn't know, and I'm a news junkie. It was horrific. The community supported all the Navy employees. The Nats game was canceled. They opened up their stadium for everyone to come there. And it took a lot of time to heal. 197 has been remodeled. They had to close it down for over a year, and Jeff retired during that year, so he never went back in. So Moms Demand Action is working so hard to get these laws in place. So that happened in the district. He bought the gun in Virginia. So no matter what the Maryland laws are, we have to have some kind of a common goal to keep those guns out of these people's hands. That's why I'm a member of Moms, and we would love for you to join us. I have given Jeff, and Reverend Beth said she would hand out the information that you can use to get involved. I'll just tell you, I'm giving you their website, and from their website you can go to the drop-down menu and click Maryland, and then I think put in your zip code. Montgomery County has an amazing chapter of Moms Demand Action. There's a Facebook page, of course. I'm going to give you the link. And there's a great Twitter site, if anybody's on Twitter, where you can go and follow what's going on. They're always having activities. Do we have time for questions?
We do. Does
anybody have a question or a comment? Or
Lisa's going to have to leave right after the service. Normally she would be able to answer questions, but if anybody has a question now, she's able to take a minute and respond. Mindy.
So, do you know much about what we're doing for the mental health side to support?
it's part of the background check.
I'm just going to repeat the question since
Okay.
we have people on Zoom, and I hope I'm on my microphone. The question is, what are we doing about, or what is happening as far as mental health and gun purchases?
Well, and just, I know from the educational perspective, we try to put mental health somewhat screening in place.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough because if you screen and identify someone and then you don't have services, then there's perhaps liability. And so the tendency was perhaps not screen as much because then you're not held accountable
Right.
for not being able to provide the services.
So to answer your question, they being the government, the federal government, whoever does those background checks, clearly missed something, a lot. They missed a lot, and they admitted it afterward. There was a follow-up, I was reading about it to refresh my memory, that they did not do due diligence on this man. He should never have been able to use his pass. He should never have been hired by the contractor, Hewlett Packard, who also took responsibility, because that man should never have been hired. So, but fast forward to right now, my other passion is education, and there's a brand new law called the Blueprint for Maryland's Future, which outlines all the educational goals for our state of Maryland, but there's no mental health component, which has now been launched as a new bill, which I'm going to call you about. I know her. And it uses restorative justice to try to get children and adults on board and supported when they need it. Because to not test so that you're not held accountable, that's crazy. Or to not do due diligence for background checks, that we all are in danger. So I could go on and on. Anything else? So we are a democratic state. Our General Assembly has a huge majority when we vote. We have a Democratic governor. So for those of us who are Democrats and want to see forward motion, it still might not happen, which is just amazing to me, because the General Assembly ends on April 5th, and they have all these bills that the governor will have to sign. And then it becomes a kind of a political football game, where if I sign this, will I get elected next time? So if there's anything that you want to know about that, that you could write to the governor, let me know, and I can point you in the right direction.
Thank you,
And
Lisa.
I gave Reverend Beth my email if anybody wants to write me about getting involved.
Thank you, Lisa. We really appreciate your sharing with us. Thank you. And I just wanted to share the staggering numbers that are on the Brady page. 321 people every day are shot in the United States. 111 of those 321 are shot and killed. 210 survive. 95 are intentionally shot by someone else and survive. 42 are murdered. 65 die from gun suicide. On and on. And then as far as children, every day, 22 children and teens, ages 1 through 17, are shot in the United States. 22. 5 die from gun violence. 3 are murdered. 17 children and teens survive. 8 are intentionally shot by someone else. We have a public health crisis around gun violence in our country, and I would say that the National Rifle Association members are in favor of common sense gun laws. So we need to move forward with these. Lisa, you were going to say something.
The only national law in place was written in 1968 after John and Robert Kennedy were killed and Martin Luther King. So there's an act, I forget what it's called. It's never been a newer one. There have been amendments to it. So it is really up to our states to enforce laws, to write laws, pass laws, and enforce them. And I think that's typical. The federal government doesn't get involved in the state laws.
Right. It's up to
They want us to do it.
It's up to the states to write the laws. I'm just repeating some of what you said for those on live stream. The federal government isn't as involved. The last time that they wrote a law was after Martin Luther King Jr. and Ronald Reagan?
No,
John Kennedy, sorry.
So that's 1968.
1968. And there was, for a while, the gun law around rifles. What am I trying to remember?
And the Brady Act.
Yes, the Brady Act.
Was an amendment to the 1968.
Right. The Brady Act was an amendment after James Brady was killed or injured at the Ronald Reagan attempt. And that has not been renewed. So advocacy is important. Writing our senators and congresspeople is very important. Moms Demand Action. Every town for gun safety is important. So thank you for reminding us of what we are committed to as people who are following Jesus of our baptismal covenant, to respect the dignity of every human being and to work for justice. Thank you.